You must be tired of hearing this, but the movie rocks.
Oh, that's great.
It's fantastic.
Wow, who
It's
could get tired of hearing that? No. What did you say?
Again? This is a question to you, Sam. Do you feel an evolution of your style? Because no one does movies like you do. And it's very unique, that, no, very particular. Do you feel there has been an evolution from when you started to this one?
I feel like I'm on the same path of trying to entertain the audience and give them a show that's either funny or scary. And I think during the 45 years that I've been directing movies, I've learned to listen a little bit more. And I think that's the biggest change for me, is to take the brilliance of the crew and apply it when appropriate. It makes the movie, it's the only way that I know to make the movie better than anything I could have done, is by taking the right ideas and using them. Then I'll claim them as my own. But it's the incorporation of the great sound master, of the brilliant composer, of the great actress and actor that I worked with, that really elevates the thing. And using their skills is new to me. I used to be a guy that would work on my own storyboards. You have to hit that mark. You have to come right here. I'm going to rack to your eyeball. Don't be off by a moment. And it was very mechanical but fun. But I've really begun to appreciate what the quality and the worth of great talent that surrounds you.
Which bring us to the next question, which is, for me, filmmaking, I think it's the most collaborative experience in the world. Being in your position, do you think with the pass of time and doing movies, is it more easy to have the great team, the best team that you can think of it?
I don't think any movie is easy. I think every movie you learn something new, and there's always lessons to be learned. But of course, it doesn't help when Sam Raimi. It does help when Sam Raimi's directing it, and Sam runs a tight ship, and he has the best collaborators in the world. But every production's always difficult and has their own new problems.
Do you, Sam? How open are you to new ideas when you're shooting? Improvisation, for example. Are you willing to change some things that you worked for so long, you know what I mean, that you were at some point sure they were there, and then you feel this thing that, I think I can do it differently?
Yes, that's exactly right. You work on the script with the writers and your storyboard artists and the team and the location people in the production center until you're certain that it's going to work. And then as you get to set, that ability to know every detail and why it's there and how it supports the next detail, knowing that gives you the freedom to drop it all and improvise, because you have in your mind, I know where they've got to be by the end of the scene. And the reason I know that is because I already shot the next scene in chronological order. So there's a certain limitation that comes about having just making the movie and slowly walling yourself in. But within those set parameters that you create with the actors, I love being free and open and accepting ideas and changing it for the better as much as possible.
Do you still storyboard everything?
I work with storyboard artists now, and I have different artists, mostly my good friend Doug Leffler, storyboard 90% of the pieces.
One of the great highlights of the movie, in my opinion, is the incredible chemistry between the leads. The question is it something that you have to work on the set, or is it something instinctively that you see when you're doing the casting, for example? Is it something that begins with the actor, or is it the director, the chemistry between them?
What do you think? What do you think?
What do I think? I mean, they have undeniable chemistry. And I think they're both they're such professionals, and they came in so prepared, and they came with their own backstories, and they worked very, very closely together. So that chemistry did show on screen. So I think it's a case-by-case situation.
But it's a leap of faith, you know what I mean?
It's a leap of faith, yes. Like every movie, it's a leap of faith.
I'm starting very hard to do a good Q&A in Mexico City with you guys. And one of the things that amazed me is that you were such a fan of comedy films.
Yeah.
You know what? Like the instantly you think Sam Raimi, horror. You know
Yes.
what I mean? But and it moved me very much. You know what I mean? Like a reader, like an audience, that you were such a fan of comedy, The Three Stooges. And right now, I can understand a lot of things. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, I had always made stories to make people laugh. I was a class clown, and when I got into filmmaking, it was about bringing gags and jokes to the Super 8mm home audience. And then I started to make movies with stories, but they were funny. And it was only when I wanted to break into the movie business after a year of college that my friend Rob Tappert said to me, "You can't make a comedy as a feature if we go forward with this." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, there are no comedy features made for like $100,000, which was what we were aiming to make it for." He said, "The only thing that shows on the screens in America is horror movies made that cheaply. That's the only cheap movie that's being shown. So you got to make a horror movie. Can you make one?" And I said, "No, I don't like horror movies. They scare me. I'm the biggest coward. It's kind of the opposite of what I want to do. I want to make people laugh." But he said, "Well, learn to make a horror movie because that's all we can sell." So I went to a horror movie to see the state of them. And it happened to be Halloween. And he said, "Well, can you make a movie that good?" And I said, "No freaking way." I had no idea they were so well crafted. I wasn't a fan of them, but it was going repeatedly to the drive-ins and seeing the cheap ones made in USA, Italy, Spain. I started to get inspired that I could do as good as that. You know, these were really low-budget movies. So it was not the great work of art that inspired me. It was the poor attempts and thinking I could do it that well and maybe a little better. So I learned how to make horror movies. And as I learned, I started to appreciate the craft of building suspense for the audience, being aware of what the audience was thinking and how to lead them toward a scare but not give it to them, and then give it to them suddenly. And different formulas of manipulation for the audience. And I began to appreciate the craft of that, of like telling a good ghost story. So I developed an appreciation for it and started to make horror films.
That's what I call the beautiful accidents in art. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You never know.
You never know.
Looking forward to see you guys in Mexico City.
Looking forward to seeing
Yes.
you. I'm so glad you're going to be our host.
There's going to be a huge legion of fans. It's going to be a blast, a party.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Prepare that.
I love Mexico
Can't
City.
wait.
Thank you much for your time and for the movie.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Heraldo Podcast, un lugar para tus oídos.